13-6. Virginia Tech. 4 weight classes still to go. And here at 174, the ranked wrestler comes for Stanford. And it is 17th ranked redshirt senior Keaton Subjeck against true freshman Hunter Bolen. Kind of rare to not redshirt your freshman season, right? And just get thrown right into the fire?
You know, it just depends. It depends on when you're stepping in and what the lineup is giving you. So, I mean, I think, you know, if Tony Roby didn't have a lot of confidence that Hunter could, you know, get the job done, he wouldn't be out there. So I think that's a testament to Hunter, that he has the confidence of this coaching staff. That's so early on. But, you know, there's a lot of learning that needs to be done.
Bolen from right down the road, literally, Christiansburg High School, which has dominated this state's high school wrestling ranks. A very highly recruited player. And he's replacing an All-American in Zack at 174. And even though it's right down the road with Christiansburg, this was a huge get for the program here in Blacksburg to keep Bolen at home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, these guys are getting recruited from all over the country. And, you know, I think we've established, or, you know, here in Blacksburg, you know, the Hokies have established a pipeline from Christiansburg, and you've seen Christiansburg guys have a lot of success, you know, with the Joey Dances of the world, the Devin Carters, the Zach Epperleys. You know, they've had success down the road, and you get an opportunity to you know, compete in front of a hometown crowd, and so you know, there's definitely a lot of attractive qualities about staying home, and I think the Hokies have really capitalized on that.
Sort of a two-way street. These guys come right down to Blacksburg. They get to see nationally ranked wrestling and think, okay, maybe this is something I want to do. So they go and pump up Christiansburg High School, and then they feed it right back in here to Blacksburg, and it's been a great cycle that has really helped elevate this Virginia Tech program.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you know, Zach Epperley decided to forfeit his last year. You know, he did a lot for the Hokie program. You know, wish him the best, and you know, he's still in the area. He's still involved. I think he's helping over at Christiansburg High School. So, you know, these Christiansburg guys, they love wrestling, and they like to you know, help young guys, and so it's a good situation to have a relationship there.
And so now it's Bolen up against the number 17 ranked redshirt senior Keaton Subjeck from El Dorado Hills, California. Stanford able to keep him local. Two-time NCAA qualifier. We get a stalemate. And like we said, much like a lot of this team for Stanford, changing weight classes. Subjeck back up to 174, where he was as a redshirt freshman and a redshirt sophomore. Went down to 165 last year. Now he's back up at 174, and he's going to require some medical attention as they clean up the blood on the mat.
Yeah, and this is, you know, what we've been talking about. I think, you know, Coach Borelli finally feels like he has, you know, his guys at the right weights. But, you know, it's tough to, you know, go back and forth. You don't get any, you know, continuity at a weight class, and you got to kind of relearn it every year. And so, you know, his subjects, he's a redshirt senior. He knows the drill, and you know, he's got the experience. He'll be able to adapt fine back to the new weight class. But oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, what's the difference between 165 and 174? Is there that much of a difference?
The guys are a lot bigger. I mean,
yeah.
Especially, I mean, if you have the even ability to drop down to 165, you're probably a small 174-pounder. Not always the case, but that's most likely the case. He's maybe a little bit small for 174, and just the strength. I mean, if you see, you know, kind of an average 174 versus an average 165, I mean, there's a pretty big difference, and that's a lot of, and that's, you know, that's 10 pounds of muscle right there. Okay, and Subjeck gets the 2-point takedown right at the end of the period. Going to be challenged by the Hokie bench. Hokie crowd not too thrilled with it, but right now, as it stands, Subjeck gets a really good 2-point takedown right at the end of the period.
That was at the buzzer. So right now, Subjeck has been given the 2 points. And now we'll see just how close it was. It sounded almost simultaneously with the signal from our head referee, Matt Sorchinski, today.
And if you're, I mean, that's just the experience of Subjeck. I mean, right at the end of the period, scoring 2 points. Don't give the guy a chance to get an escape and make it 2-1. So you're heading into the next period up 2-0. That's big. I mean, who knows if this will stand? We'll see. But that's just just showing the experience. That's what you want out of your redshirt senior.
And Tony Roby for Virginia Tech immediately was up, very politely challenged. Just waited for the official determination, and now our officials will take a look at it at the scorers table to determine whether or not we go into the second period with a 2-0 Stanford lead or a scoreless first period. Hokies leading in the match 14-6 through 6 weight classes. They've gotten 2 major decisions at 133 and 165.
And if you're Tony Roby in this situation, there's maybe a little bit of gamesmanship here. Maybe you're not going to get the call overturned, but you want to show that you're a young guy, that you're in his corner.
They confirm it.
Yep. And so that's two points for the redshirt senior. But as I was saying, I mean, Tony may not have thought that was going to get overturned, but you need to show your guy that you have his back. You're in his corner, and maybe give him a little bit of breather.
Might as well challenge it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt.
So we go to the second period, 2-0 subjeck.
Up quick and no points yet, but looking for an escape. And he gets it.
So he's built the 3-0 lead very quickly.
And see, that's why getting a takedown at the end of the first period is so important. So instead of getting the takedown with a minute left and having the guy escape, you're up 2-1, and now if you get an escape, you're up 3-1. Now he's up 3-0, and that's a completely different match, completely different mindset, just having that 1 point. You hear the Hokie faithful, encouraging their guy. They're really excited about this young guy. I mean, that's maybe some of that hometown support that you see here, coming just down the road from Christiansburg.
You say Christiansburg, this crowd loves it. And it is a great crowd here on this opening Saturday of the season. 2 top 25 teams going at it before the Hokie Open held tomorrow. Part of a big-time schedule for Virginia Tech. They have Central Michigan coming in. And a huge matchup later this month, 3 weeks from today, with Missouri, a top 10 team that'll be across campus at the Moss Arts Center. You got West Virginia coming in here, Lehigh, and then ACC play Duke in North Carolina. It's become a home mat advantage for sure here in Castle Coliseum.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you really, with the success of the Virginia Tech wrestling program over the last 10, 11 years, you've seen the support and the crowd base, increase, just alongside that. So it really is a great place to compete.
Nearly a takedown for Bolen. Crowd asking for it, not getting it.
In deep on a shot, maybe catches subjeck off guard a little bit, able to recover, and it's going to be the end of the period.
So 2 periods down, subjeck up 3-0. Riding time not really a factor. Bolen will choose the bottom here, trailing by 3 to begin the third period.
Yeah, he needs to get an escape quick and start working for a takedown. He may have gotten close that last flurry, but really hasn't been too deep on that many shots. So he's got to prove that he can escape here and start scoring some points.
Subjeck denying that opportunity. Looked like Bolen being able to get there immediately, but not the case.
Yep, subjeck doing a good job of stopping that initial move and putting really heavy pressure on Bolen, holding him down. Not really looking to score points, doesn't seem like here, but really just trying to build riding time and kind of slow things down. But he has a chicken wing, and he's running that opposite half, so he might be able to pick up some near fall points here.
The redshirt senior in control, building riding time. Approaching the halfway point of the third period. Bolen nearly got out of it, but the true freshman not able to do so.
Bolen's still working to get out. So in that situation, if you're Bolen, you want to come straight up. You know, maybe that's just maybe being a little bit young, but you don't want to try to Granby. I mean, good college guys can stop that pretty easily. They know it's coming. So you know, and you're wasting time on bottom. So you know, if you're on bottom in that situation, you want to come straight up. You want to try to stand up and get the escape that way. It's cleaner. It's more efficient with the time. It's more effective. I know that because I was doing the same thing, you know, for the first year or two of my career, and it was one of those things the coaches really had to work with me on. Not just trying to roll around and, you know, hope for an escape. It's just go take an escape, go get it. So something that comes with time.
So subject gets a stall warning. He has built up the riding time advantage with 30 seconds left. Bolen has been unable to get out of subject's grasp here ever since that takedown right at the buzzer of the first period. And he gets out.
The escape.
So it's 3-1.
And subject's got riding time locked up at this point too, so he needs at least a 4-point move here. Well, 3 points if there was a 3-point move, but if he needs to take down a near fall.
Doesn't look like Bolen's going to have the opportunity as subject wins at 174. The freshman falls to the redshirt senior, but shows some promise, but subject is too veteran and a couple savvy moves ends up getting the victory for Stanford at 174.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just see subject's experience kind of play out there. Just keeping, you know, hard to score on. Scores at the end of the period. You know, that's just going to have to come with time for Hunter.
So we move right along to 184. As Zach Zavatsky for Virginia Tech, ranked 6th in the nation. Redshirt junior will go up against redshirt sophomore Austin Flores of Stanford. The Cardinal have won back-to-back matches here in the middleweight classes to cut it to 14-9 with 3 weight classes still to go. And if you're a Virginia Tech fan, the good news is you have the nationally ranked guy in 2 of the final 3 meets and already have a 5-point lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is really for the last few years been the meat of the Virginia Tech lineup. You know, before now it was, you know, Ty Walls at heavyweight, you know, where you had Zavatsky, Jared Haught at 97 and Ty Walls at heavyweight. You know, obviously Walls is no longer here, but you still have Zavatsky, who's really, really good. You know, 2-time ACC champ, like you said, ranked sixth in the country. You know, hasn't played out at the national tournament for him at this point, but you know, it's one of those things where he's one of the best kids in the country. So he's really fun to watch, and you see right there, gets pretty easy takedown. And so yeah, this Hokie lineup is pretty strong towards the back end.
So you know something about that as a heavyweight champion yourself.
Things have got a little bit better since I left, but yeah, I mean you've just really seen the upper weights. You know, it wasn't always the case. You know, there was a lot of there was a period of time where the Hokies were really good in the middleweights, but you've seen the upper weights really come on strong in the last few years. Yeah, I had an opportunity to wrestle, you know, heavyweight for the Hokies, but you know, obviously Ty Walls, you know, filling in at heavyweight after I left, and I mean 3-time All-American. You know, what else do you say? The guy's just an absolute stud. Now he's, you know, just made his first world team in the under 23 category. He wrestled in Poland, so, you know, really helping out these big guys.
And it's nice to, when you had a Walls or these guys that are nationally ranked at the top, to know that you have that when you start at 125, that, hey, we've got these points potentially near the back end of the bout.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're the Hokie coaching staff, you kind of sleep easier at night knowing that there's not these big question marks towards the end of the dual meet, but depending on where they start, I guess.
So Zavatsky, 2-time ACC champion, against redshirt sophomore Austin Flores, who's got the potential to win a conference title at 184. He's been having some injury troubles out of Clovis, California, but Coaches really believe, Jason Borelli thinks that this guy can be a conference champion. Zavatsky nearing a near fall near the end of the first period.
Yeah, the ref started counting, so he's going to get it.
He's got 4 points waiting. And he gets them. 8-1 Zavatsky in the first period.
And again, that's what you want out of your veterans, your really good guys. You want to see them, kind of widening the gap, scoring a lot of points, and that translates into team points as well.
An 8-1 period for Zavatsky, two-time ACC champion. And you mentioned it's sort of been disappointing for Zavatsky when he gets to the NCAAs. He's qualified, but hasn't been able to get to the next level, and that's the next step as he's now an upperclassman on this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was close as a freshman. I think he was around a 12 guy. I think he was maybe 2-2 last year. And it's just one of those things that he's dropped a couple close matches to some really good wrestlers, and that's just at the national tournament. That's just the way it goes. I mean, every match is going to be tough, and just hasn't worked out for him. But I don't think it's anything. I don't think there's anything structurally wrong with Zavatsky. I mean, he's really good, and he's shown that he can win at a high level, and just kind of the cards got to fall in line for him. But he's definitely an exciting guy to watch.
25-4 a year ago. Consistency is usually what you can expect with Zavatsky. Know what you're getting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Match in and match out.
Absolutely.
He's built a 6-point lead here and has riding time to his credit.
He's working on another takedown here.
Gets it. Major territory for Zavatsky. Still a minute to go here in the second period.
And he's getting some near fall points here. At least he should be. There he is. Starts counting.
He'll get 4 more points on the docket. This could be a big swing match for the Hokies. Already up 14-9. A major decision, or you're looking for a tech fall. Up 14-2 here with 30 seconds to go, and you have the riding time point in your pocket.
And this is where you see the experience of Zavatsky play out too, is just the transition. He gets a takedown and moves right into working for a turn. That's something that young guys should take note of. And there he goes again. He's not, relieving the pressure at all. He's looking for a fall here. The Hokie crowd thought he had it too.
Either way, he gets the tech fall. Nearly got the fall. But a dominating effort for Zach Zavatsky, and he gets a standing ovation from the Hokie faithful. 5 huge points for the Bird and Orange. What a dominant effort from Zach Zavatsky. And it's 19-9 Virginia Tech. That may have just sewn up the match in the dual meet for Virginia Tech, but there's still 2 highly ranked wrestlers still to go at 197 in heavyweight. And we'll have it for you when we come back. The Hokies up 19-9. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Foe Stanford Cardinal, and this is something that Hokie fans came to see today, and that's Jared Haught at 197. A question of whether or not he'd be here, but he is on the mat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he had to make a tough choice, and he decided that, they decided, him and Coach Roby decided it'd be best for him and the team to stay put here in Blacksburg, and the team needed him. So as always, when the team needs him, Jared's going to show up. Jared's a total package, just all around, great person, great athlete, the kind of guy that you can build a program around.
And it is his redshirt senior season in Blacksburg. The leader of this squad, 2-time All-American, 28-4 last season. From Parkersburg, West Virginia. And he's up against Nathan Traxler for Stanford in his first career match.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mismatch here. If you're Coach Borelli and Traxler at Stanford, you're just trying to go out there and wrestle hard and try to get a win, but you're just trying to learn something from this match. It's Jared Haught's just really, really good, and nobody would be shocked to see him in the finals of the NCAA tournament this year. But like we said, at the end of the day, you still got to go out there and wrestle and let things play out.
was in the semifinals last season, ranked second to begin this year. The two guys ahead of him were the eventual national champion and Olympic medalist, and the other guy graduated. They both graduated. So the two guys that he fell to and then the eventual national champ are both out of the way now for Haught at 197. So he's got a legitimate chance to win an individual title.
Yeah, I mean, he's always going to be in the running. Even if, some of those guys were back, and he's still got, Colin Moore at Ohio State, who he fell to in the third and fourth place match last year that match was probably not a good representation of what that matchup would look like. And I think a lot of people were looking to see that at the All-Star match, but unfortunately, Colin, had to pull out for whatever reason. And, so that's that. But, that would be an exciting match to watch in the finals of the NCAA tournament.
Hokies leading 19-9 here with two matches to go, two weight classes. So any points here from Haught win the duel for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, well, they've actually, let's see, they've actually got it locked up.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, barring any pins.
Pins
so
and tech
I
falls.
guess technically not, but any win here for Haught really locks it up. But Haught's not going to get
it's elementary at this point. And that's when you look at the nationally ranked wrestlers for Virginia Tech, they've gotten the bonus points. You saw Zavatsky get the bonus points.
Yep.
You saw a guy in wasn't nationally ranked, but Dennis Gustafson got bonus points, and McFadden got bonus points, and we talked about that at the onset. The bonus points were going to be the factor here, and the Hokies nationally ranked guys have gotten that, and Stanford hasn't been able to.
Absolutely, yeah. You if you're Coach Borelli, you need to get a little bit more out of your studs. But at the same time, it's the first match of the year, and you can tell that the Hokies have been excited to get back on the mat under this new regime, and at the end of the day, the Hokie wrestling squad is probably just a little bit better at this point than Stanford, a little bit deeper at the weight classes, and but like we were talking about earlier, Coach Borelli's got a talented group this year.
2 more points for Haught. Still high expectations, nothing to shake your head about if you're Stanford coming across the country to face this nationally ranked top 10 team in Virginia Tech, ranked 8th or 9th, depending upon what poll you look at. Cardinals still a top 25 team. They'll be in the Hokie Open tomorrow.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, that's why you travel all the way across the country, is to get the best competition. Borelli knows that, and he's gonna do whatever it takes to get his guys better. And if that means flying all the way across the country, he's gonna do it.
And if you're head coach Tony Roby, I think you can be very pleased with the effort of your team thus far. Your 4 leaders have performed admirably. Haught still going here, and the new guys have shown well as well. Maybe not getting the results, but they've shown some promise.
Yeah, absolutely. You've seen, even the guys that have lost. I mean, you've seen the talent that's there. I mean, it's evident. You got some really good young guys coming out of this Hokie squad, and so the Virginia Tech the fans should be excited for what's going to come for the next few years.
6-3, Haught has the lead, and we will go into period 3. I didn't want to speak before the horn. We saw one at the buzzer, but they'll go in with a 3-point lead. And Haught will choose bottom.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, Haught is just such a man-child. I mean, he's just a massive, massive human being. His legs are huge. He's super strong. I mean, just look at that. He just picks up his leg, and that's something that Traxler's, he'll come into, but you can just see the difference in age and experience here, too. I had the unfortunate opportunity to wrestle against Haught a couple years ago in practice after I'd finished up, and I was helping coach a little bit and at the time, and the guy just goes hard the whole time. He's got heavy hands. He hands fights hard, and he's an ox.
National semifinalist last season, finished 4th, All-American. And one of those other guys that is not shying away from the fact that his goal is to win the national championship at 197.
And if you think about, how this, how important it is to develop guys. I mean, he's, he was good in high school, and he was coming out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. He was good. And, when I wrestled with him a little bit, I mean, he was good, but he wasn't that good. So it's just a testament for what guys like Tony Roby can do for an individual, a young guy coming in and just building that, developing that athlete. And I think you've seen that with Haught. I mean, the guy just, from his freshman year to his sophomore year, just made, improved leaps and bounds and has just built upon that.
Haught gets another takedown. Leading by 7, has riding time in his favor right now. So you're looking at potentially another major decision. He lets him go. And Traxler, you can tell, is just exhausted.
Yeah, I think the heavy hands of Haught are getting to him a little bit. You see him breathing heavy, kind of getting out of his stance a little bit.
So right on the line of major versus regular decision, Haught will need another point. Or a takedown. Just looking for it. But instead, he will settle for a 12-5 victory when you add in the riding time. The Hokies have clinched the duel, leading 22-9, and we go to heavyweights. And a nationally ranked wrestler for Stanford and Nathan Butler against the next guy at heavyweight. And for the first